Rolling back the patches and updates after you have updated your system is not recommended, but in some rare occasions, sometimes you must do that. The reason being, sometimes you realize later on the vendor you're working with does not need the new version of a particular software, or the whole system got upgraded from 7.2 to 7.4 and they needed it on 7.2. So that's some of the reasons when you need to roll back the system, and it's in very rare cases. Rollback is definitely not recommended, but if you must, consider the following. On virtual servers, create snapshots. Snapshots, once you have a snapshot created on a virtual server, then you can go back to the previous version of your system. In case something goes wrong, you can revert back to the previous state of your system, and this will protect you. If you're not familiar with snapshots, let me show it to you on a VirtualBox. So if you're using VirtualBox, or even if you're using VMware or any other virtualization software, you will have a snapshot option. In this case, we will talk about the option of snapshot creation in Oracle VM VirtualBox. So as you can see, currently I have a test machine running. This is the server CentOS 7.6. Now, once it's highlighted, you can go under Machine Tools right here, click on Snapshots. And right here it says Take. That's saying take the snapshot. So right here you can name it. Make sure you name it something that you can remember it with. Maybe the date or the time. For example, July 20, 2019. So something like that, so you remember it. And then you can mention something like pre-rollback. Something like that, so you can remember it. So if something goes wrong with your system, you can come back here and use the previous version to get your system back. So if I hit OK, it will try to create the snapshot. As you can see, the snapshot is getting created. Depending on how big your system is, it can take a little bit of time. As you can see right now, the snapshot is there, and we can always revert back to this snapshot if something goes wrong. Or whatever virtualized environment that you're using, you will have some type of snapshot option. Before you do an update, make sure the backups were run before you actually scheduled an update. So in case something goes wrong and system needs to be recovered later on, you at least have some backups to get the system back. You can definitely use that option on a physical server. Physical servers don't usually have snapshots. Sometimes in rare cases, you may have a third-party software which can create a whole image of your server. In case something goes wrong, you can try to get it back from that. Otherwise, usually physical servers in real environments, they have backups. So if the server goes down or you need to restore the server, you can create a fresh server and install everything else that you have in the backups. So those are the options that you need to consider before you think of rolling back patches and updates. In case something goes wrong, you need to have a backup plan. How you choose to update is also important. If something goes wrong and you need to recover your system, and if you have used yum update, which is the recommended method to update your system, it preserves old packages. There's a good chance that you may be able to. Yum upgrade, on the other hand, deletes obsolete packages, so it'll be a bigger problem for you when you try to roll back patches and updates. So keep that in mind when you try to roll back. Next is we'll cover downgrading a specific package. Let's say your whole system upgraded and one of the packages got upgraded as well. And then later on you found out that this is the package that did not need to be upgraded. In that case, you can run yum downgrade command and mention the software name which you need to downgrade. In most cases, you shouldn't do that because you want the latest versions of the software to be there. But let's say you're working with a vendor, or maybe you have some developers who are working with something and a certain package is causing a conflict, or there's a problem because of a certain package, and they ask you that they need a previous version or an older version of a software. In that case, you can run yum downgrade and mention the software package name and downgrade it. In most cases, it will work. Sometimes it does not work. When it does not work, you have another option. You may have to just completely remove that software, download the software, or tell the vendor to provide you with the particular software that you need to install and then install it. But these are some of the options you have when you're dealing with a specific package. Next thing we'll talk about is view and rollback packages. So if I type in yum history command, hit enter, So this command shows you what was done through the yum command. For example, right here is the ID. So this is the ID and this is what the action was. So it's telling us right here what the action was and what was altered and what date and time it was done. And this is the ID number. So for example, some software was removed. Let's go down a little bit. We installed create repo package. We installed vsftpd. This is the ID of this package. Now let's say if we wanted to get more information about exactly what was done, we need to know the ID number. In this case 29. Let's find more information with the ID number of exactly what was installed and what happened. So remember the ID number is 29. Let me clear the screen and let's run the command yum history info and ID number is 29. Hit enter. Now it'll give us all the information it knows about the ID 29. Now it's telling us it was installed. Something was installed. The name is listed here. Let me move up a little bit. It was a success. It gives you all the information that you may need to know about what was done through the yum command. So it was a successful install of a software called sftpd, which what was used, what's the RPM, what command was used, which directory, which repository was used to install this, etc., etc. Now you have all the information. Now let's say you wanted to undo this. To undo this, you can run yum history and just type in undo and type in the ID number. The ID number is 29. Hit enter. Now it's undoing what was done through that command, which is the ID 29. So let's look at what it's doing. Install size 353K, and that was done. Now it is removing it. So it's undoing that yum command which installed this software. So basically, in a way, it's a rollback of installed software. So if I hit yes, it will erase the software. So that's how you can undo something, and that's how you can check and roll back. So let's say on yum history there was an update to the whole system. As long as you know the ID number, you can do yum history undo and the ID number, and it will try to roll back the whole system. It is not recommended, one more time, but if you must, that's how you can get it done. Last but not the least, let's talk about rolling back to a minor release. This is definitely not recommended because that can make your system unstable if you try to roll back. But again, there are some rare cases when you may have to try and do that. In that case, use the snapshots, use the backups, or use the third-party software if you need to. But if it's a regular VM, then make sure you have a snapshot created before you attempt the rollback. And if something goes wrong, use the snapshot to recover your system.